you had a video game, and the point of the video game was to be as evil as possible to as many black people in Africa as possible. Like, and then making it so that they're like trying to get it so they're drinking urine and feces. That's the most insane, evil thing, man. pig stuff in Africa is so insane. The human guinea pig stuff in Africa is so insane. Is so insane.
What's up? Welcome. I got cocaine dust in my face. You know we start every live stream with a straight ounce of cocaine. Welcome everybody. I still got hairs and cocaine in my face. I was doing the cocaines with a Sasquatch and there's hair everywhere. What's up? Welcome. Like and share, because there's cocaines everywhere. People really believe that too if you say that. What have I got? I got fancy stuff. Not only are we sassy, we're fancy around here. We got sassy pants and we got fancy pants. Look at this. Look at this. Boom. Look at that. Boom. Look at that. Boom. Look at that. We even got a freaking document cam. Boom, look at that. Ah! We're Alex Jones level now. Folks, unbelievable. Give me the document cam right now. Give me the damn document cam. Unbelievable. Folks, unbelievable. It's unbelievable we have this fancy stuff. Who do we have it thanks to? None other than Richard Grove. Show sponsor. Renaissance Man. Liberty Man. His name is Liberty Man. His name is Richard Grove. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know where that one's going. Maybe a rap song? His name is, His name is, He doesn't have a name, it's just, Document cam. Document cam. To document all the crimes of the New World Order with the document cam and with a fancy cam and also this fancy cam and this fancy cam. Look at all the fancy cams. Anyway, yes, so we installed this. Hopefully everybody's happy. So many complaints. When are you gonna do this? When are you gonna do that? Well, I think now we took it to the next level. Thank you to Richard Grove for sending us the Stream Deck. Much appreciated. That's an excellent little tool. We was over here with Baby Biden. Just doing a little bit of, what do they call it? Blow? Snow? Informer. You know, so that them is no me, I go blame. Snow? Informer. No, so that them is no me, I go blame. I like you boom boom the air. Whatever he says. I have no idea what he says. I'm all about that royalty-free beats. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a whole world of royalty-free beats on internet. Are you familiar with internet? Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about, I just can't get over flipping I'm just in love with this little machine, with this little contraption. I feel like a boomer with a freaking fast motion boomer scooter. Like it's a boomer scooter with buttons that does all kinds of things. Look at that! I can go into the Walmart lanes and it'll beep if I'm going to hit something. This is awesome. I love this little thing. It's got a button to take me into a high octane. It's a high octane boomer scooter. I just can't believe it. I can't quit playing with it. That's what she said. Booty Bass Remix. Booty Bass Remix. Yeah, we're going to be talking about real stuff today. Boomer scooters. Boomer scooters. Boomer scooters. Boomer scooters. Get my boomer glasses on. Boomer scooters. Boomer scooters. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. Boomer scooters. It's boomer scooters. In Target. In Walmart. Boomer scooters equipped with machine guns for the prepper apocalypse. Boomer scooters. Boomer scooters. Boomer scooters. Boomer scooters. 25 liters of Diet Coke on the edge of my boomer scooter. This beat's weird. Too many stops and pauses in this beat. Anyway, you get the idea, right? If you would hit like and share. Boomer scooters. Boomer scooters. 25 liters of Diet Coke on my boomer scooter. Boomer scooters fitted with machine guns. With a document can to show you the documents. Anyway, no, we're not going to be doing that all day long. Don't worry. Don't worry. So many worried people out there. We're going to be talking about all the stuff that is coming down the pike that we talked about for so long, and now it's here. And I found a lot of really cool news clips, mainstream news clips, y'all. Kind of unbelievable, really. I don't really know what's going on with Sky News. Sky News in Australia. They locking down people. What does Maria Z say? I don't go near vaccinated people. I don't even go near vaccinated people. I don't even look in the direction of vaccinated people. I don't even stand downwind of vaccinated people. I don't even believe in vaccinated people. I'm just joking. I love Maria Z. That's just impressions. We do impressions of everybody. People get their feelings hurt. No need to get your feelings hurt. If I do an impression of you, I probably like you. Probably, but maybe not. Few people we do impressions of I don't like, but most of the time you do impressions of people that you like. So, shout out to Maria Z. She doesn't go anywhere near vaccinated people. Please report on your neighbours for terrorism. Terrorism. Report on your neighbour for terrorism. If you would hit like and share. Also, you can support us via Super Chats. Super Chats are, of course, via the Streamlabs function. Do you like these boomer glasses I have now? So I can finally read again. Now that I have my reading glasses. But anyway. I had a fancy coat I got too. We upgraded the fancy, we upgraded the sass, we upgraded diva status. Everything got upgraded, and then the freaking coat that I bought, the fancy coat I bought, it was on sale. It was a $300 sport coat. Michaela Peterson Cars sport coat. So I put it on, and it smelled like freaking hairspray. So I'm thinking, who bought a Michael Kors coat, did their hair up, and then exchanged it, took it back? And now it smells like it's 1997, and, you know, I'm Ben Affleck in Paycheck with a can of hairspray. I'm serious. Who even uses hairspray? Is that still a thing? Why is that a thing? Why does anybody still use hairspray? I don't need hairspray. And my hair is diva status. Why do you need hairspray? It's not 1997. I wasn't even wearing hairspray in 1997 anymore. Onega knee vaccinated people. Wow, we already got. Anytime I start doing this music, anytime I start rapping, the money just starts flowing.
With the Kroger
Is it
Plus
time for
card,
me to
save up
become a
$1
rapper?
a gallon at the-
Do I need to just transition into rap? Gender transition into a rapper? Is that what everyone wants? Because the money comes when I do that. I don't know why. I talk to you all day long about books. Books. Check them out. I said books. Check them out. You could read about stars and electric guitars in books. Check them out. There might be a hot chick at the library, but she's a homely chick. Don't be an incel. Go hit on the girl at the library. At the library. Books. Check them out. I said books. Check them out. There's a cute little mama at the library, and she's putting up encyclopedias. Go spit some game at the chick at the library if you were incel. No, I didn't misspell. You were incel. Go get a girlfriend at the library. She over there working out the reference counter. Just cite my name as a source when you spit that game, of course. That's a reference in the reference section of the library. 6 feet under, buried. You regret that you didn't hit on that chick in the library. This is a reference for the reference section of the library. And that one chick who's working the reference section in the library. You say, how do I get game for the library? Check out a book. A fancy philosophical sounding book. Zen in the art of motorcycle maintenance. And then just leave it out in the library. In the library. In the reference section. In the reference section. And then when she comes over to put that book up, you say, hey, have you heard of Jay? He said to talk to the girl in the reference section of the library. See? There you go. I just solved every freaking incel's dilemma about getting a date. Just go do that. Right there. See how easy that is? In the reference section of the library. All right, so let's get to the serious or the seriouser stuff, not the totally. I mean, this is more serious, right? You tripping? If you just bust out that song in the library, that would also be another way to, as they say, peacock. If you peacocked in the library in that way, you would impress the girl. You might get thrown out, but you would impress her too. Did I mention we have a freaking document cam? Look at that. We're on a whole new level. Thank you to Richard Grove for convincing me of finally doing the stream deck stuff. All right, let's get to it. So first of all, I can't believe this is on Sky News, but I guess they've been kind of based for a long time. I mean, it's based like Tucker kind of based, right? Which is good, but it's still like talking to normie boomer audience, I guess. But people are starting to wake up. That's good. That's good, right? So here's this. Let's comment on this one. I couldn't believe that these clips are coming out. Lord V was playing these clips the other day, and check this out.
Spoken about.
This is good for normies, by the way, right? So you got a lot of normies who still are in denial, and mainstream news is now reporting on all these things. It's like, how do you not know this?
Great Reset. This is the plan by the World Economic Forum to encourage governments to use all the levers they used during lockdown, enforced business closures, 23-hour lockdowns, restricting how far you can go from your home, and ridiculously aggressive policing tactics in order to tackle climate change. The Guardian last week ran a lengthy and, to be frank, fairly tedious article by someone I'd never heard of called Anne Davies attacking me, it seems to be my week, for spreading conspiracy theories about the Great Reset, accompanied by a photo of myself looking suitably deranged and unhinged. Sometimes it's just out-and-out conspiracy material drawn from the QAnon playbook, like Rowan Dean's multiple reports on the supposed secret agenda of the World Economic Forum's Great Reset, Ms. Davies wrote in her piece. Well, first of all, I have no idea what the QAnon playbook is, other than that apparently you have to dress up like Chewbacca in buffalo horns and paint your face.
So, as you can imagine, I mean, all that Q crap, right, which we always said from the very get-go was a big psyop, is obviously now a psyop, and even the mainstream news can recognize that that's ridiculous. But they're still using that psyop to connect everybody to these events, right? So it's like, if you talk about any of this, oh, it's all just part of that. The loose association fallacy of association, the favorite of the normie, the NPC, that's like their number one favorite fallacy, right up there next to ad hominem. You're wrong because you're a bad person, and that's like 99% of mainstream normie tier argumentation. Let me explain. Let me find some way that you're a bad person, and then everything you say is wrong, which is a fallacy, right? But that's like the number one way to argue in the minds of normies. And the other one is, oh, you once talked to this person and they were bad, or they did this or that, therefore you are tainted. Okay, fallacy of association. This is all fallacies. We had somebody in the Discord yesterday. When are you going to take down your Andrew Tate interview? Gotcha! I'm not taking it down. Even if anybody is guilty of something, I'm still not going to take it down. Who demands that the news take down every interview they ever did because somebody ended up being scandalous? Scandalous. Straight scandalous. Controversy. And number one, secondly, number two. One and two. Number two, I don't even think that they're even in any trouble anyway. So I don't really believe that they're involved in trafficking. I mean, you could think whatever you want. And by the way, we did a critique of of Andrew Tate's worldview like a month ago, right? And then multiple people, his ex-girlfriend comes out and says, no, he's not actually involved in any of that. It's all baloney. I would not, I mean, whatever you think of the Tate brothers, like, they're not dumb, like, to the extent that they're going to openly run a giant trafficking ring. I mean, they're not that stupid. Come on. That's ridiculous. I find that hard to believe. So, and then didn't they let Tristan go? Okay, so I thought that this was like, oh, got him, and you're guilty by. I did an interview with him a year and a half ago. Anyway, but everybody loves to like go on like a moral crusade with every kind of event or person that pops up. So every time somebody becomes popular, it then turns into a thing that everybody has to choose pro or against. So it's almost like what used to be psyops in getting people to choose sides of events. Now they get people to choose sides on a person. Have you noticed that? Like, you have to choose whether somebody is this ultimate villain or an ultimate hero. In reality, isn't it obvious that everybody has good and bad about them? Isn't that more obvious? So it's like, Jordan Peterson. Is he a giant Illuminati shill? Or is he a hero who speaks for the incel, bro? Well, maybe there's something in between. Not that he's Illuminati, but I'm saying, like, maybe there's some middle position where it's like, okay, so he says some good things, but he also is wrong about these other things, right? Isn't that? Yeah, everybody knows. I already know. We all know about Andrew and Tristan Tate, right? I'm tired of. I know all the stuff that everybody says, so we don't have to have these stupid debates. What I'm trying to say is, instead of obsessing over the morals of everybody, this is what's so annoying about the whole conversation. Everything that goes on, they make it be about the morals of the person involved. Think about Lord Voldemort. So Lord V does years of documentaries, reports, right? And 95% of what he says is true. So how do you destroy a person in the media and public perception? Pick one hot button topic, then spend all of it as if everything is about them being a bad person because they got a thing wrong. And then the other thing that left mainstream normie people love to do is say that if you got something wrong, you lied. Okay, that's two different things. A lie is not the same thing as being wrong. Okay, and if I interviewed Tristan Tate a year and a half ago, and you don't like him, so what? And it's so weird. It's like this moral crusade in alternative media, and all of it is everybody adopting the left mindset. That's what's so weird about it. And they say the same thing about Lord V, like, are you going to renounce your associations with him? And I'm like, why? Because he was an evil liar. And it's like, where was the lie? So lying is not the same thing as getting something wrong. You understand that? One of them is just simply being incorrect. The other one involves a moral error of, will. But I mean, people like the normie NPC left people, like they can't even get the basics of this down. They're like, they don't even know that lying and being wrong are two different things. So they actually think that any loose association, this is the whole thing with like, because I interviewed Dugin one time, I must be a Russian agent. It's so crazy. And like, that's people in alt media doing the exact same thing that left-minded people do. So all I'm trying to tell you is that whole approach is wrong. And yeah, there's some line where like if I was doing a nightly stream, promoting every single person that was in any way problematic, okay, maybe I could see that, you're crossing the line. But what I'm saying is guilt by association is a fallacy. It's a form of fallacy. And it's a tactic that all of these ridiculous fallacy generating left NPC CNN watching people do. And then everybody in the alternative media just acts and does and repeats the same thing. So in reality, over the years of doing alternative media, I've done interviews and talked to tons of people who were goobers, tons of people who ended up being idiotic, tons of people who ended up being phony balonies, right? So it's just ridiculous and it's unrealistic to expect, go through and purge every person that you ever did an interview with who was a problem. And if you don't, you are some sort of collaborator. Oh, you interviewed Dugin 6 years ago? You must be a Gnostic because he says something Gnostic. This is so inane and mindless and silly. And everybody seems to fall for this. And I started realizing at a certain point when you do gain an audience, one thing that happens when you get a different perspective, because when you have we don't have a huge audience, we have a little bit of an audience, right? Then you start to realize the crazy mill and what people come up with, right? See you at the top, boom. Then you start realizing that people do that to you, right? And I've been guilty in the past of thinking that, somebody did an interview with somebody, maybe they're collaborators, right? I used to think that a long time ago. And then once you build up an audience and you realize that you meet people and you talk about doing, interviews and collaborating, then there's this mill of crazies that automatically generate the nonsense that everybody's colluding together and you're all working on some sort of deep operation disinfo thing. And then you see it from the other side, and you're like, man, this is so stupid. Like, all I did was email so-and-so years ago and say, hey, you want to do an interview? And they said, yeah. And that was it. Right? It's not some giant collaboration of deep state operatives or something like that. Anyway, that was my little rant on how everybody turns into virtue signaling social justice warriors, even on the right, and that's really annoying. That's it.
Beside the point, not my cup of tea. Ms. Davies clearly doesn't understand what a conspiracy theory is. There is no secret agenda about the Great Reset. They're shouting it from the right.
Exactly. Like, why is this even a thing? I mean, when all of this stuff is public, how is this even something that's in doubt anymore, right? It's baffling to me that this can all be public and people still act like this is not a thing. I mean, it's like, I remember when I was in college and I would be talking about the Council on Foreign Relations, right? In an undergrad, and I would say, you know, I've been reading Quigley and he talks about the Council on Foreign Relations. And I remember bringing it up to various professors, like leftist professors. And one of them was like, oh, did you get that from Glenn Beck? And I'm like, you know, the CFR has a website, right? You could go see that that's a thing. Oh, really? Did Glenn Beck tell you that there is a Council on Foreign Relations website? I'm not joking. I'm like, no, I don't watch Glenn Beck. This was 10 years ago, right? It was right when I was starting undergrad. And they're like, oh yeah, is the CFR under your bed at night? Is the CFR listening to you through your walls? All this kind of snarky bullshit, you know, how they act. And it's like, so you don't think that there's a Council on Foreign Relations website? And then the same professor teaching a class on advanced research methods is like, oh, do you believe everything on the internet? Oh, it's on the internet, I guess it's true. And I'm like, you're on the internet, dumbass. What are you talking about? So if I'm supposed to doubt the internet, I'm supposed to doubt you. So you just owned yourself, dummy. But that's the level of what we deal with I mean, academics are the most brainwashed people out there. That's the funny thing, right? People think that there's this, like, people worship authority in academia, and academics are the most controlled, brainwashed people out there. Remember the bat people on the moon story? That illustrates that.
It's not me saying they want you to own nothing and be happy about it. It's them.
Oh, you get an occasional ration of meat. You'll get a little bitty dob of meat. Dobby will give you a dobby of meat. Just a little bit of double of meat. You got our meat. You got our meat.
Yeah, by the way, oil is not fossils. Oil is not ground up dinosaur bones. It's not dinosaur juice. Sorry, it's not.
Global carbon.
So there you go. What was the meat part? That's what I was looking for. The meat part. Because today we're talking about eating the bugs. Eat the bugs. I got good grades in German. I don't remember what eat the bugs is in German though. Where's the meat part? Look at all this propaganda. This is so silly. Climate refugees. Climate refugees. Climate refugees. Wasn't there any... Here we go. Meat part. Here we go. Meat is an occasional treat, not a staple.
Meat's an occasional treat, not a staple. You gotta eat your plastics. You gotta have your 12 servings of plastic every day. Cause the government tells me to. Ooh.
Remember that Plandopolis video? Remember that? People haven't even figured out that old classic, right? This was like 101 back in the day. Let's see if it's still up on YouTube or if they've taken it down. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. Remember this? Plandopolis. So this is the same structures, right? Giving you what you have today. Put this out back in mid 2000s. So let's look at this, because this is a classic from a UK-based think tank, and it's got that soulless Brit chick, right?
Oh, you can't have your meat today. You only get meat once a month on your birthday.
Interesting. So 20, what do they project in 2020? Floating cities 2031. Rationing water. This is all to have controlled resources. That's it. Okay, you understand there's not real, these are fake crises. The whole system is built on engineered fake crises. You know what else is true too? Did you notice that it's like a comic book? Isn't that weird? So it's doubly dystopian, because not only is this a projection of the future from some garbage think tank trying to tell everybody to die, it's also in the format of a comic book. Interesting.
Oh, hi. I'm so glad you're on time. I'm V. I'm looking forward to showing you around Plandopolis today.
Remember? Was I not right?
Oh, can't have your meat. It's not your birthday. You only get meat on your birthday. Gotta eat your kibble. Gotta eat your kibble. Gotta eat your kibble.
My husband works from home. He's a virtual engineer.
Look at that guy. What? Look at that soulless creature with freaking robotics covering his face, sitting in his coon pod with a cat.
Yeah, working.
I bet they don't have kids either, right? They have a cat.
The city's desalination plants. He controls the robots who do all the important maintenance. I think he basically plays.
He controls the robots that do all the maintenance. There you go. So here's your smart city future, baby.
Computer games for a living. You ready to go? Have you got your calorie card open on your smartphone? I registered your...
Have you got your calorie card on your smartphone? We're in the phase right now that this old think tank fake cartoon planned. Do you understand that? And notice that you don't drive your own car. Now we're at the phase of,
you don't need your own car. Don't need your own car. You're hurting the planet.
With Slick Travel Corp the other day, so they've...
By the way, the British voice actually fits it, because Malthusianism and all this garbage comes out of the Royal Society and these people.
...to you a journey time to match mine. It makes so much sense, doesn't it? Switch off brain and go to work. With this many people around, I'm glad there's a mega computer in charge.
Hello? Plandopolis High School. Everything it was run by the mega computer, but that's better, because the mega computer won't make the mistakes that humans make.
We're so lucky. Our kids were allocated a school quite near my practice, so I can drop them off on the way. It saves on our calorie ration. Well, it won't be long until the little darlings get their career announcements. They've been working so hard, so I'm sure they'll get something good. Not that there's anything wrong with fixing carbon scrubbers for a living or anything. Are you hungry? Let's pop to the market as we're passing. Right, what?
Carbon scrubbers? So, you understand that life is carbon-based? Carbon is not a toxin. There's nothing inherently gross or toxic about freaking carbon. This is so dumb. Imagine, it's wild that people will believe that the thing that's toxic is human beings. This is all a giant scam. You understand that this is a scam to control everybody. And when this comes about, if this comes about, it will be the fault of the people who won't accept that this is what's going on. I don't even blame the people pushing this on everyone. It's actually the people that collaborate to deny it that are guilty.
On the menu this month? No, not meat. It's not your birthday.
It's not my birthday. You don't get no meat.
See? Told you. This is from like 2000. It's earlier than 2011, right? So this says 2000. That's just when this dude uploaded it, right?
The Global Food Council are doing a really good job of keeping food production going. I mean, you don't get the choice you used to, but we're better off than most. I think it's probably easiest to walk from here. You barely see a car in the city centre nowadays,
So again, the architecture of the entire thing that's being set up across the world is literally an oligarch structure that is anti-human and to control, corral, and sterilize everybody else. That's it. If you just understand that, that explains all of this. And that's why this agenda keeps marching forward, and the idiot politicians come and go in a rinse and repeat cycle, and nothing ever changes because politicians don't do anything. These people do things.
rich. Well, the state knows they just aren't practical anymore. We're all trying to meet our global carbon deal. Electric bikes are so much better for getting around our neighbourhood. And why waste valuable space on car parks when you can use them to grow food?
Yeah, man, like, get rid of the cars so we grow food out there. Yeah, grow a bunch of freaking kale, which is not actually food. I mean, this is amazing.
I don't care what you say, Alex. They don't deserve to live in that ghetto. They are completely disconnected. No high-speed transport system, no new internet. They miss out on jobs and many essential services too. Oh, hi again. What a day. I had to make an emergency visit to the Cry Freedom ghettos. I mean...
So anyone that doesn't go along is put into this nasty ghetto called the Cry Freedom ghettos.
Miss my sister like mad, but I'm glad they went when they moved to New Amsterdam.
So she is segregated from her family members that cry for freedom against the New World Order, right?
Safe from climate change on the floating city. Oh, that must be her now. It's much easier to meet up with friends virtually now.
So what's amazing about this is, yeah, you don't have friends, you meet up with them virtually. Look, I mean, all of this is, again, like 2007, 8, 9, somewhere in there. Isn't that amazing? So you think your future isn't planned? Well, the fact that you won't admit that it's planned is why you will go into slavery. Just look up the video, Plandopolis. Just go look it up. Use your own brain and use search engines. So notice the first one was Plandopolis from the UK think tank from 2006, 7, 8, somewhere in there. This is World Economic Forum a couple years ago. You see the continuity plan here? And why are we lecturing through all of the Milner, Fabian? Because that's the history of all of this stuff. Look at this fancy... Look, check this out. Look at this. Look at this fancy shit we got right here. Look at this. Oh, boom, look at that. See that? It's a real book. It's an actual book with 500 pages in it and hundreds of footnotes. You may not be familiar with these things called books. Books, check them out. Books, check them out. Right? You've heard of these? Anybody? You understand too that, and one thing Richard was way ahead of the times with was talking about how you need to have actual physical copies of books. Have you read 1980? I mean, not 1984. Have you read Fahrenheit 451? Did you notice what happens in Fahrenheit 451? What happens? Books are illegal. That's not satire, okay? Somebody said they can't read. Go read the BBC Pigeon website. How's that? Then you can read. That's more your speed, dog. So books are going to be like elite, fancy things. I'm telling you. If they don't come and just show up and burn them. And they did that. Remember in the Maoist revolution, they did that. They came and burnt the books. So Fahrenheit 451 is talking about some of this stuff. They'll come burn the books. Why will they burn the books? Bertrand Russell said, in the technocracy, you're not going to be reading Shakespeare. You're not going to be reading the Bible. You think you're going to be sitting around reading Aristotle in the technocracy? No, you won't. Have you read Brave New World? What happens to the literature and the stuff in Brave New World? It's illegal. And when John the Savage starts reading it, he talks to Mustafa Aman, the world socialist controller, and he says, why are you hiding away this information? And he said, this information is not for the public. The public gets the dumb stuff, gets the control. Books are for the socialist, Fabian socialist elite. Did you read Brave New? Did you notice that in Brave New World? By the way, everybody was. So it was pretty funny. So Lex Friedman's book list. Everybody was talking about this. First of all, I would say, hey, props to him for reading these things. So I don't think actually. I think his reading list was really good. I think he was. I'm glad. I mean, I don't care about Kerouac. That's some garbage right there. But hey, if he's promoting a reading list, that's awesome. Shout out, props to him. Now, the part that was misinformed, I don't think he was intentionally. Like, he might not have known that Brothers Karamazov is like 1,000, 1,100 pages, right? But if he's going to try to tackle it, well, then shout out to him. That's good. So I'm glad that Lex Fridman had Brave New World, 1984, and Brothers Karamazov on there. Good. I hope he does read it. Now, he's going to find out that he can't read that in a week. But, yeah, I understand. I'm just, again, everybody going on the moral crusades about people. That's what I'm trying to say. It's so annoying. I'm just tired of it. And I don't care whether you like him or not. That's fine. You can not like him or like him. I'm just saying, if he's promoting people reading Brothers Karamazov, good. Yes, Jack Kerouac, that's not any good. It's not. What are we going to get out of that? Bunch of boomer motorcycle trip, road trip bullshit from Jack Nicholson era. I mean, come on. There's no way that can be any good. Allen Ginsberg, that dude was out there talking about worshiping demons, worshiping Moloch. So I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Global carbon prices, only eat meat as a treat, billions of refugees from climate change. I have only ever repeated the words of Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum.
As have we.
Prince Charles.
As have we lectured through his book. I mean, like, I've read Klaus. What are you talking about, right? It's not hard to figure this stuff out. I mean, it's all out there. I mean, do we understand that this is a continuation of what's in Quigley, what's in Tragedy and Hope, and everybody's like, this book is out of print. The book is out of print. Not my fault. I'm sorry it's out of print. When I talk about books, people go buy them. Every author ought to thank me for talking about their books. It's not my fault that it's out of print. That's why I'm lecturing through it for you. But you understand this is a real book. Books, check them out. All I do is listen to what Sir Mix-a-Lot told me to do back in the late 80s. Did you know Sir Mix-a-Lot sang about books? Check them out. Books, check them out. That's what I did. I followed the life wisdom of Sir Mix-a-Lot. Put them on the glass. I like big butts and I can't not lie. Right? Mix-a-Lot wisdom. Books, boobs, butts. The three things that Sir Mix-a-Lot sang about. Anyway, I'm in love. I'm in love with my switchy thing. I'm in love with my switchy thing. By the way, I was thinking about the next cringecore song. I think I want to do some kind of 90s dance mix, like a LaBouche, like a real McCoy. One of those kind of things. That sounds like the most fun. I like big books and I can't not lie. All right.
Use all the levers, the words of the head of the United Nations, Guterres, who says we must use COVID to counter climate change, and many other very powerful and influential individuals who insist we must go straight from COVID lockdowns to climate lockdowns. So the timing of Ms. Davies' piece smearing me for trying to suggest that there was some kind of conspiracy linking COVID to climate change could not actually have been worse.
Okay, so how many times do we have to go through this? Conspiracy, quote unquote. Does anybody know what governments engage in on a daily basis? What do power blocks in all of history engage in every day? It's called espionage. It's a real thing. It's a real world thing. Let's again use our little document cam. Folks, bring it up. Bring it up on the document cam. Boom. What is this? Oh, it's a giant, massive book about the history of that right there. A big old fat thing. That's the real world. The real world is about geopolitics and espionage because it's real. See this? This is a new one about, what does that say? Illumination and utopia in Gemistos Plethon. Who is he? He is the late Byzantine, as Byzantium was collapsing, esoteric Platonist, more of an atheist Platonist. And he influenced Spinoza and the Illuminists, the Jacobins, these later people who attempt to erect the socialist utopia in Europe. We will be lecturing through that book, yes. Anyway, so to understand that, I think what was most amazing to me in grad school, talking about a lot of this, was how commonplace most of this stuff is in the academic and historical literature, especially like in international relations and these kinds of things. I didn't take international relations grad courses, but I read the text that a lot of them were using and were focused on, because I was studying propaganda, right? And it's like, you know, all this stuff is in the academic literature. And, you know, this is my idealistic expectation that'll never happen. If the males in the West and in our country didn't spend all their time on gaming and football, then they would know these things. They would be acclimated to the literature, which actually consistently talks about all this material. And and now you've got news anchors telling you this, and it's stuff that I've been telling you for a long time, 10, 12, 13, 15 years.
At the same time she was penning her conspiracy theory article, the World Economic Forum were putting the finishing touches to their latest ad, telling us what plans they have. Wait for it. They think that lockdowns are necessary for tackling climate change. Lockdowns are good.
Sounds like Lord Voldemort. And remember, as we were getting into COOF, right? I was doing talks on Great Reset, Klaus and company. When COOF was starting, remember that? And what do we talk about? how climate lockdowns would be the next phase, and that when they were talking about Mother Earth is coming back to life because we shut everything down. Shut everything down. Gaia's able to breathe again. She can't breathe when everybody's out there doing commerce and engaging in buying 33 Bugattis. Do you got a Bugatti? Do you got a Bugatti? I got 33 Bugattis. Do you got a Bugatti? And then Greta's like, how dare you? How dare you have Bugattis? Right? Remember all of that in the like 2019, 2020 era? Go back and listen to my Great Reset talks back then. And I said they're going to say, because they were putting it in MIT articles, that the lockdowns helped Mother Earth breathe again and come to life. And now they're saying it.
We'll have a listen to this, and I'll read out the subtitles just to underline them of their latest ad. Earth's seismic noise has been the lowest in decades due to lockdowns.
Do you understand the whole thing is Malthusian? Just look up Malthusianism, dummies. That's all it is. How dare you? Do you got a Bugatti? I got 33 Bugattis. I didn't even, like, I thought I was doing good when I did my Tate impression, and then I realized everybody else says that. So I don't know if they got it from me or what, but do you understand that the idea that Earth will breathe again when there's no humans is really their worldview? That's it. If you would hit like and share, thank you everybody. Got a nice 530 in the house. That's cool. That's nice, sweet. And they're saying, oh, with no people, Mama Earth can breathe. Mama Earth's got a big old chest. She's heaving. Mammy Earth can't breathe. She's heaving. If we just get rid of the people, she'll breathe again.
Scientists saw a wave of quiet around the world in 2020. Ambient noise in some cities fell 50% as fewer people used transport and factories closed. There were also record falls in air pollution, clearing city skies from Asia to America. But by late 2020, it had returned to pre-pandemic levels. Carbon emissions were also down 7% last year, but the drop won't slow climate change unless we lock in emissions cuts. How quiet was your local area? The World Economic Forum asked. Well, so there you have it. We'll go from lockdowns to lock-ins. Shut down your factories. That's good. Stop people using transport. That's good. And
what did we cover on Lord Voldemort 2 days ago? What's the where are we at with all this? Banning of cars. Banning of meat, locking down so there's no travel, no more freedom of commerce, getting rid of the family. These are all stated Fabian goals. DEAF care, right? Right. In Canada, did everybody saw that? Do I have to also show everybody that? Do you understand? These are not random things. Like, oh, there's this thing happening and there's that thing happening. It is a continuity of agenda for 100 plus years. What was it called? I think it's D. And now they're making this normal in Europe too. Here we go. Here's Tim Cast covering it. Let's see this. In case you weren't aware, right? Who is that? Is that Rihanna? Is that Rihanna? I'm just joking. That's to me, Candace Owens looks like Rihanna.
Dark territory?
Yeah, man.
Did you guys see that commercial that was glorifying euthanasia? Where the woman was like, I can choose to die. And then like they're all dancing around her or whatever. She didn't want to die. She wanted to live. But they wouldn't give her the care she needed so she could live. So she opted to die instead.
Wow.
Because the state, this is California, this is Canada. I don't mean like the United States. I mean like the government state said, well, we can't give you the adequate health care you need, but we can kill you. And she said, fine. From the National Post, Woman featured in pro-euthanasia commercial wanted to live, say friends. Quote, I feel like I'm falling through the cracks, so if I'm not able to access health care, am I then able to access death care? Hatch said in a CTV interview. So when they did...
Death care, exactly. That's what I didn't want to spell it because I can't say these things because it triggers the algorithm, right? I can't talk as a normal adult. I'm not allowed to talk.
Commercial showing this woman about how she wanted to die because she had a connective tissue disorder. What they omitted from that was that she had given interviews and that her friends had pleaded to give her the care she needed because she didn't want to die. Now, in Canada, they're currently having a debate over whether or not to extend euthanasia to children. So, this morning when I see the Project Veritas stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm going to put on some 90s commercials. I'm going to do it tomorrow, too. Just zone out and be like, yeah, cheeseburgers for 50 cents.
What do you guys think about assisted suicide? What about you? What do you think, Scott?
Well, in regards to the story, I just think it's disgusting that it's cheaper to kill someone than to keep them alive. And I think...
Yeah, so this is not a random thing. That's what I'm trying to say, right? This is not just, it's just this thing happens to happen. And then over here, this other thing. It's all part of the austerity, Great Reset, shutdown, change the planet. And by the way, you understand it's in decades of phases, right? We're just going into one of the phases, and there's more phases. And that's why today's show is the predictions, because everybody loves to do these predictions show. Okay, well, I'll do my predictions, and I can tell you that my predictions will come true because I know what these people who run the Western power block have said they're going to do. So I can assure you that my predictions will come true because until these people stop doing their geopolitical espionage power moves, you don't have to use the word conspiracy if you don't want to. Guess what? It's called espionage. How about that? Until they stop doing their global espionage moves to create a one world government, this is never going away. So I can assure you, given that all of their writings and materials are public, that I can accurately predict the future. I don't know the sequence of events, but I can tell you what they're going to bring eventually in some manner of sequence.
The streets, and hey presto, climate change is solved. But before the Guardian go rushing off screaming conspiracy theory, yes, it's a conspiracy, but it's not my conspiracy, it's theirs. And while the lovies are all in a tiz, maybe the Guardian might like to look into this conspiracy theory. And I quote, what is the truth about...
All right, let's move on. I'm not trying to not talk about that, but here you go. You can watch the rest of that news clip there. Let's move on to the next one. It is this same dude on Sky News saying the same stuff.
The similarities between Canada. Somewhere else that seems to be sliding into dictatorship is Holland.
That is not my echo, by the way, before you start bitching about the sound. It's the echo on whoever uploaded this video.
Which may not entirely be a coincidence. The similarities between Canada and Holland are as startling as they are disturbing. Here's Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, leader of the laughably and ironically named People's Party for Freedom and Democracy. Apart from obviously sharing the same wacky lefty sense of humour, those two both are, of course, golden pin-up boys for Klaus Schwab and the globalist fantasists of the World Economic Forum. Only a few months ago, it was the Canadian government that attacked its own citizens in the most...
So why am I... why tells you this now? Because half the time of talking about this stuff for 13, 15 years, whatever, people won't believe it until some perceived authority figure talks about it. Particularly the boomer mindset, right? Boomers were brainwashed into this attitude that it's not true or validated until a mainstream TV man says it. Then it's true. So you could tell these things to a boomer until you're blue in the face, and until Daddy Newsman says it, because they were conditioned with Tom Brokaw and Walter Cronkite and all those crustaceans to not actually believe it until they say it. That's the super fallacy upon which this whole thing is built is the fallacy of authority. Now, that doesn't mean there's no authority. It's all about perceived authority. Do you understand that? Perceived authority. So that's different from the fallacy of... So there's a fallacy of authority. There's the perception of authority. And there's real authority. All of these things are real things.
And these hubs in Africa, in Asia, in South America, and in Europe will allow businesses to connect regional stakeholders to skill innovations, because this is key, skill innovations that can address...
This is important because he's talking about the logistics of food systems and land use. So, remember when they were going to try to ban farms? This is the same thing the Fabians and Stalin and all of that. It's all the same stuff. It's just repurposed. All of the strategies of Bolshevism and technocracy are all combined in these entities. And the reason that we have to go to the Royal Society and that we have to go to the Milner Group and all that stuff is because they're the ones that dreamt up the system that we're going into. Right? So these people, I can't get over my document cam. I'm just in love with this now. These people and these people engineered the modern world. And they were behind the Bolsheviks, and they were behind Tiny Mustache Man and his rise as well. As we just noted again, because it's page 1059 in Quigley that discusses the banks. Schroeder Bank with Alan Dulles is who helped Tiny Mustache Man gonna come to power with the aid of the bankers, yeah. That sounds like that 80s song, like Jay Giles Band, right? I was like inadvertently going into Jay Giles Band mode.
Food systems challenges. And here, I'm particularly proud to announce that the Netherlands will host the global coordinating secretariat of the World Economic Forum Food Innovation Hubs.
The hubs are set out to transform food systems and land use, eh?
Did you hear that? Davos, WEF, they want to transform food systems and land rights and land use. In other words, death care, banning cars, banning meat, banning travel, 15-minute cities. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's hit that one. By the way, the 15-minute city thing is just exactly what was in... Oh, look, they got that corporate Memphis art. Oh, bleh. Corporate Memphis, dude, the worst art ever. Faceless, basically unhumaned, faceless thunder thigh people. Because they always have giant thighs for whatever reason. And they're ambiguously colored. Let's see what this garbage is. This looks awful. What is this?
Before the recent lockdowns around the world, we led hectic lives with long commutes and not enough time.
Look, I told you, look, tiny heads and giant fat bodies on the corporate Memphis art. The dystopian art of, I mean, this is worse than any, like, dystopian art of the Cold War was pretty badass. I mean, look at Soviet cosmism compared to this. I don't even know what. It's just something. It's like everything is next level awful. There's nothing worse than corporate Memphis art, but it does accurately capture the spirit of the corporate Fabian dystopia that we're going into.
To spend with our families and friends. Traffic polluted our air and smog blanketed.
This is a just next level propaganda, right? Too many people must get rid of other people. Thank you to COVID and lockdown.
Our skylines.
What if it could be different? What if we could create a new normal where we reclaim our time?
What if we could create entire corporate Memphis societies where everybody had gigantic thunder thighs, but they didn't give birth? And they were all sterile, and they were all goo people like a Gumby, who evolve into being one giant being and then stop being.
Our health and well-being, and our communities.
This is the idea behind the 15-minute city, a growing movement to make our lives in cities more convenient, less
Don't you want to be in the 15-minute city? Yes, this will be perfect. Everything will be nice and pretty for you. We will have you to be the Gumby persons. I will penetrate the Gumby people cabinets, and I will penetrate the Gumby people to make sure that you are the sterile. You will eat die bugs. Eat die bugs. If you eat enough the bugs, you will become like the Gumby people with the corporate Memphis art, with their gigantic thunder size and the sterility, so that no beings come from out of the thunder dies.
and more sustainable. A 15-minute city is one where everything we need is close to home, where commute.
This is a giant prison, a 15-minute prison.
Look at this. What is this? There is no worse art than corporate Memphis clip art. This is just the worst ever. I have to give the dystopia credit because Orwell and Aldous Huxley could not dream up corporate Memphis art. Even they would be like, what? This is next level. There's no way the Fortune 100 would literally promote the worst possible art style to describe their dystopia. Oh yes. Oh yes, they will.
Are safe and inclusive, where the air is clean.
And they don't have faces because you don't have identity. Remember masks?
Put your mask on. Put your mask on. It makes me feel safe.
You don't have an identity. You are a blob person, a Gumby person. They're shaped like Gumby now. Remember my satire joke? The Gumby people? Does nobody realize that my satire predicted the future? Should we play it? Where's it at?
In the future, we live inside of Walmart. All of us. Many of us crammed, packed into various aisles. Each aisle contains a small sleeping module which rolls out. Aisles are filed according to one's chosen fictional LARPing creature. I myself am a rat. I am the Pope of the future. I'm the Pope in the future. And in the future, all of our food is provided directly from central Walmart locales. Some people choose to live inside of a Starbucks. Some people choose to live inside of a Target. Others have chosen the Google City lifestyle. I, being from the South, live inside of a Walmart. But my aisle is one of the most respected aisles in Walmart.
I am the Pope of the future. I'm the Pope in the future.
I live inside of the vending aisle wherein all French fries are distributed to all those who live in my Skyrise Walmart. In the future, we only eat fries, genetically modified fries. As you can see, I'm wearing. In this video, we're going to. As you can see,
there you go. There's your future, right? Did I not predict it? Living inside of a Walmart city?
The 15-minute city. Oh, go so great. On a 15-minute city. Everything I mean, all you need I met.
would you? How many universal basic French fry credits would it take for you to sleep with the corporate Memphis women on this thing? Do you think they're hot? Maybe some of y'all got a thing for it. Maybe you think giant thunder thigh Gumby people are kind of hot. I don't know. Maybe y'all got some fancy. So maybe you got some. Maybe you fancy this. I don't know.
Where the air is clean.
A 15-minute city is one where it's easy to get goods and services, fresh groceries.
Where it's easy to be imprisoned. Where it's easy for you to be forced to eat bugs because you can't go anywhere. Look at all the Gumby people, dude. Look at the giant thunder thighs.
Healthcare and other amenities are all just a short trip away. A 15-minute city is one where everyone has a place.
A 15-minute city has a...
What if I don't like 15-minute cities? Do I still have a place? Or am I locked into the torture dungeon underneath the 15-minute utopia? I mean, I can't imagine. Can you believe people believe this? Like they really think that this is going to help them out. Like, and they're going to sign up for it because it's all in the books. They all said they would do this, and you'll get your credits allotted to you. Like I said in my satire video, you'll get your weekly French fry allotment. If you live on the you could pick what aisle do you want to live in? You want to live in the Walmart French fry aisle? Do you want to live on the toy aisle? You want to live on the milk aisle? Well, you can't get milk anymore. Even that fake ass milk they serve at Walmart, you can't get that anymore. That's illegal. That's rape. You're raping cows to get that. You can't steal from cows. Are toxic too, by the way. They gotta all be put to death. It's the French Revolutionary Robespierre cow revolution. We're gonna behead all the cows because they're destroying the atmosphere.
Great deal of money to be made and power to be gained, of course, by fueling.
I want you all to listen to the Australian people. I don't go near vaccinated people. I don't go near vaccinated people. They're all on the news over there telling the truth on this channel.
Alarmism. Now, some organisations seem to specialise in it. Naturally, they also have the solution, which coincidentally further empowers or enriches them. And it usually involves someone else's money, which is not donated voluntarily by concerned citizens, but redistributed by government, for our own good, of course. Naturally, the problem never goes away. It just adapts to the circumstances, and only the continuing replenishment of their bank account with someone else's money will avert a total catastrophe for all of us. Hey, it's a very neat business model if you can crack it, and plenty do. The entire climate change alarmism business is built around it. The shrill voices get handouts to become even shriller and more professional scaremongers and scroungers than they already are. In fact, it's mostly the eco-zealots who fit into this.
I hope you guys understand that I'm not joking when I'm talking about what they say about the cows, right? That wasn't a joke. Like, they say that if you are stealing cow milk, it's RAPE because you're, and the same with eggs. It's violence against cows and chickens. So you better believe all the radical vegan eco, that's all part of this 100%. And it doesn't matter how many times you tell us they're in a cult, man. That's a serious, crazy cult right there. That stuff.
Category. Every week there's a new endangered species or a threatened species of fungi to save. And some organisations, though, have a much grander vision than just saving the environment. They want to save us all from ourselves. And one of those I've spoken about regularly on this program is the World Economic Forum. Remember, they're the mob of autocrats who want to reinvent capitalism, to build back better, and who think you should own nothing and actually be happy. Well, you have to admire the chutzpah. They never let an opportunity to proselytise their socialistic agenda of global government go to waste. You see, they've morphed from green tyranny of the West to pandemic pushes of progressive politics. And I use the term progressive for alliteration purposes only. A more appropriate word is communist, given their agenda's striking similarity to Marx's Communist Manifesto, which we discussed here a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, the WEF.
Now, just to expand on that, that's partly true. If you're speaking to like a normie audience, it's fine to say that, but let's get it very clear that the form of communism that is involved in this is very precise, very specific. It's called Reformed Marxism. And it was spearheaded by these people right here, right? It's the same thing, because this type of Marxism is not antithetical to monopoly capital. Now, classic Marxism, in my view, was always a front for monopoly capital. So, and that's covered in many works that we've discussed, particularly the Sutton text, as well as other British spy biographies that we haven't covered yet. But the point is that that is a type of Marxism. Yeah, I know it's unavailable because I lectured on it, because it's a rare book and it's a good book. Humans are not vegans. You see these pointy teeth? That's for chewing up meat, dude. Not for eating kale. I'm not a rabbit. Yes, please. I hope more people would talk about how the book's not available. We all know the book's not available, right? We've had 100 people already say that. That's why I'm lecturing through the book for you. So you can go to yesterday's, 2 days ago, right? Go to the top of the channel, and we lectured through the book. We're almost 300 pages in now. We're 200 pages in public lectures. The next talk for subscribers will cover the next 100 pages. We need 50 more people telling us that the book is out of print. But the reason this book matters is because it shows the continuity of the agenda, right? When we hear this terminology of, oh, the elites support communism and socialism, right? Okay, but how? What's the actual mechanics of that? It's this book. And this book explains that whether it's the United Nations or the IMF or the World Bank or the Aspen Institute or the CFR or the League of Nations, they're all started by these people on record. Or whether it's the OSS, CIA, and MI6, they're all, you got it, these people, this circle. And somebody said the other day, what about Mossad? Well, the people that these people set that up. So, yes, duh, right? This is all just mainline history. It's not my fault if you don't know mainline history. And it doesn't make me a conspiracy theorist. But what he's talking about is what I've been talking about, but he's making it more palatable for like an NPC, normie audience. And it's reformed Marxism. And this model wanted to be more openly allied with big capital. Now, a lot of people don't know that classic Marxism was not antithetical to capitalism. This is a myth. I don't know where people get this. It's just from generic normie stuff. If you take college classes on Marxism, I had a whole bunch, you will learn that Marx thought capitalism was a phase. Okay? At certain times he was against it for the rights of the workers, but that was just for agitation and for what he thought would get us to the next phase of the revolution. Does everybody understand that? So for Marx, capitalism is the necessary phase, or a kind of determined phase, after feudalism. Feudalism gives way, he thinks, to capitalism. The capitalism gives way to big state socialism. So the Fabians saw the error. One of the errors in Marx was the idea that you would get this phase where the workers would all unite and overthrow and take up the means of production, right? That never happened. The workers didn't care about arguing and debating the nuances of classical Marxist theory and praxis, right? And so the Fabian said, well, we need to have a better approach to pushing this through via allying ourselves to big money openly. Classic Marxism, in my view, already had big money kind of behind it in the background. But now the idea was, no, let's do this openly. And that's a huge step forward in a synthesis, a third way synthesis of Western monopoly capital with Soviet and Eastern Bloc communist Marxism, Fabianism, basically, we'll say. And all the Fabians were big fans of both the Bolsheviks and Stalin. And what they wanted out of the Cold War was these two dialectical opposites hitting each other and producing the synthesis. We are now in the period of the synthesis. Do you understand? So the Cold War was a dialectic between two superpowers. Out of that, we have a new enemy that was the enemy of the last 20 years, which was the war on terror. And who was behind the strategy for the last 100 years of allying oneself to radical Islam? Who was behind that? These people, openly. That was their strategy. All the way back to T.E. Lawrence, Kim Philby, all those people. Okay. Then what? Now we have a new threat. Biomed security threat. Biological security is the new global war on a global unseen enemy. Remember, the last global war was an unseen enemy of terror. And of course, nobody in this idiot normie conservative movement can figure out who ran all that, when it's easy to figure out if you read these books. And now we got a new enemy. Isn't it interesting that all the global terror has just quietly accepted that, oh, we have a lockdown in Kuf the last 2 years. Yeah, we're going to be nice. We're not going to do any big terror for the next few years because we respect. I mean, has nobody picked up on this? Or do you actually believe that like Obama like ended ISIS or something like this, right? Like, do you understand that it's all managed? That's what it's, and it's obvious that it's all managed, and you don't have to go that far into the literature to figure that out. So now it's no longer some concern. I thought, weren't we supposed to be so concerned about global terror? And now we're not. The new concern is climate and biosecurity, namely that individual human beings can now just be these pandemic these plague generators, right? That's the new concern. Guess what? That's by design. That's the new phase. Every one of the crises allows the system to move to the next phase. Is that not obvious? What did the war on T do? Giant surveillance of everything, all under the auspices of what? War on T. Just like in a mini version, a mini microcosm, Russiagate allowed all of the tech clampdown. The auspices for the tech clampdown are now all admitted and known to be fake frauds. Russiagate, P-gate is all fake, wasn't it? Yes, all known publicly now, all admitted. Okay, and what was it useful for? All the tech clampdown, and it worked. So they don't even care. They don't care about the narrative because the narrative was just there to justify the next phase. That's a microcosm. Zoom out. What do we have? The whole last 20 plus years of war on T was the erection of the giant global surveillance grid. It was the justification of that. All the TSA, all the airport, all that stuff. All from that. Everybody knows that. Now what? Next phase. Biomed dangers. Biosecurity. That's what's in the white papers. The next phase is biosecurity and climate lockdowns, which are all part of the same thing.
Is very influential, counting many politicians, international bureaucrats, billionaires, and hardcore socialists amongst their advocates. It's probably just a coincidence that many of these groups were also involved in a, quote, live simulation exercise to prepare public and private leaders for pandemic response way back in October 2019. That, of course, was just months before the coronavirus pandemic was declared, and it involved all the usual suspects. The Gates Foundation, the World Bank.
By the way, there's a new one. Did you guys see the new contagion response that they did? There's a new one. A new public exercise, all the same creatures.
Nations, the CDC in America, Johns Hopkins University, the CIA, of course, and the Chinese Center for Disease Control. It also featured big pharma representatives and, oddly enough, a representative of NBC Media. Now, they're just some of the identities that were in attendance. Presciently, though, this mob of altruistic world savers went through a simulation called Event 201, which was about a fictional coronavirus pandemic. Here's what Johns Hopkins University had to say about it last year when questions arose. Just a coincidence. I mean, just because the...
Right, so you get the idea here, right? Now I'm going to show you the new one. Yeah, this is it, whatever this channel is. I don't know who this
Over
channel
the past
is.
6 months, we have been investigating as well as exposing the truth behind all of the...
Yeah, so I don't know what redacted is or who this channel is, but this gets into the new one.
About Bill Gates and the next pandemic. Bill Gates and the World Health Organization have announced when we will see the next pandemic, and they have a date for us. So get this on your calendar. Prepare, plan your trips around this next pandemic right now. We'll have more on that in a second and the dates. But you'll remember Bill Gates and the World Health Organization previously held what was known as the 2001 event, Event 201. And it was about the Event 201 exercise. It was a simulation involving a coordinated global response to a coronavirus that they held in a simulation just months before COVID-19 was declared a global pandemic. So they're pretty good at predicting this stuff. I don't know how they pull this off.
Fauci, remember, Fauci told Trump in 2017, not that there could be, not that there might be, but there would be a pandemic during his presidency.
Yes.
Yeah, and Obama ran exercises for it during his
presidency.
pregnancy.
During his pregnancy.
During his presidency.
I resent that. I resent the claim that I might be or could be perhaps pregnant. My wife, Michael, is absolutely always the one that is 100% completely pregnant. I resent that.
At the womb factory.
So they've just gotten together and they're doing it again now. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, along with Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security and the World Health Organization. I wish I was making this up, but this is not a conspiracy theory. They did this. And they just conducted their next pandemic tabletop exercise in Belgium. It's called the Catastrophic Contagion. Hey, honey, where are you going this weekend? I'm going to Belgium. I got a conference. Oh, yeah, what's it about? It's called the Catastrophic Contagion event. Oh, what do you...
It's called catastrophic contagion because we want to fix everything. We're gonna help people. We want to help. We're gonna get the numbers down. The planet's got too many people. Got to get their numbers down.
I was talking about doing the Bill Gates impression the other day to my buddy Mark, and I was talking about how by now it's funny how impressions evolve, because at a certain point you actually just do the impression of your friend instead of the actual person. So I actually like Tristan's version of Gil Bates better than the actual one. So in my head, all I hear is Tristan's Gil Bates,
which Tristan doesn't really need because he does like this. And so now I just, it's an exaggerated Tristana version of Gil Bates that's in my head to get the numbers down.
Going to be doing? Oh, we're just planning the next pandemic. Just getting everything ready. Getting everything ready and locked up, and the new virus and vaccines. We'll have vaccines ready to go because that's how we do this. We plan.
I think the same thing happened with Christopher Walken impressions, where basically at a certain point it was so people did so many of them that people were just defaulting to other actors, like Kevin Spacey's version of Christopher Walken.
And then we of course have the vaccines ready to go. So this is the video.
It's like
that
simulacra and simulation, where the simulacra replaces the reality. It's very philosophical, bro. Anyway, so now there's a new one, Let me see if they go into it. Do they show it? Yeah, here we go.
Along with the team, complete with simulated news reports like this. This is really what they're preparing for us. This video is called Get Ready. Watch.
5 words? You pronounce wrong 2 years before your brain starts shutting down.
This is now the new most annoying ad. 5 words you pronounce wrong.
Catastrophic contagion of global challenge.
Starring Jude Law.
Latin American countries alerted the WHO of several outbreaks of a new infectious disease.
This is the fake news clips that they run into simulations, in case you're wondering.
That's mysteriously appearing across the region. Severe epidemic enterovirus respiratory syndrome 2025.
Oh, so that's the name.
So now the new one is Sears 2025. Everybody clip this. Get it ready. Get it rolled up. And by the way, it doesn't have to be 2025. If you remember, SPARS 2023 corresponded to 2021. I think that's right. Right. So SPARS document was 2023 to 2025, but it actually ends up being 2020, 2022, basically. So just because it says 2025 doesn't mean it has to be. They could do this next year. This could be 2023. Okay. But that's why you got to pay attention to this. And if this happens, you need to freaking clip me covering it and make it go viral. Not this dude, whoever that dude is. No disrespect to this dude, to black golf t-shirt man, whoever that is.
Just write this down. That'll be the name of it, okay? It's gonna
Sears.
Sears. It's going to be called the Severe Epidemic Enterovirus Respiratory Syndrome, and 2025 is when we'll see it, okay? Now, it says at the bottom this is a fictional scenario, but come on.
Over the past 6 weeks alone, there have been 500 confirmed or suspected cases reported.
I need to upgrade this camera, right? Because I mean, I can even see the pores on this guy here. Like I can see his hairline and his, I can even see the dandruff. So I don't know what's going on with. Maybe we need to upgrade cameras next. Do I need a fancier camera so you can see my dandruff? You can see my nose hairs. That's what we all want deep down in our guts, right? Is that why? Doesn't he have like 1 million views on this? Is this what I need to do to get 1 million views on the videos? 899,000. Okay. I mean, by the way, I've been here talking about this stuff, I guarantee you, before these people were. Again, I'm not hating on these people, but it's like, is it just the production value? Is that what we're missing here? Is that what we need? I mean, we got our freaking, look, fancy buttons. Look at me. I can push the buttons and I'm in different places like freaking news fancy people. Come on now. Isn't that what everybody wants? I'll only listen to you if you have the fancy buttons. Okay, so I got the fancy buttons now. Now is it that you need to see my nose hairs? Is that what it is? You won't listen until you are confirmed that I have blackheads on my nose? Is that what it is? I don't believe he's real. He might be a deep fake. Until I can see the damn nose hairs in his nose, I don't listen to him. I only listen to Gen X golf shirt man.
The virus could cause a severe pandemic if early containment and mitigation efforts are not successful.
The pandemic in this type of situation and trend would be a risk for the global health security.
Wait, are you gay?
Pandemics are inherently political, financial, and...
Why are you gay? You are gay. The pandemic is gay.
So much broader.
We have not spoken on the leadership in country.
We have not spoken on the gay. The pandemic and the lockdown is gay. Why is pandemic gay?
And I think that we need to be also very careful. We cannot decide a lot of things without the leaders be involved and agree on that.
Oh, really? That's an interesting point that she's making. Oh, instead of unelected globalists making decisions, she's saying, wait a minute, we need to have our leaders involved in this discussion.
Wait, so the white guy was the dissenter, like the one we're supposed to say, oh, yeah, he's a naysayer. We don't agree with him. And then she shuts him down.
Enabling them with the tools, protecting them, and if needs be, regional solidarity.
I like his hat. That's the papal tiara of the future, right? That kind of, he looks like he's serving up some. He looks like he's serving up some fries from down under, right? In that Rudyard Kipling area of the continent down there, right? That's a fry hat from down there. No disrespect. Shout out to my people in the chat. Welcome everybody. Almost 700 on a beautiful Monday night. We are getting into, what's this called? Catastrophic contagion. To get around the algorithm there. Contagion. Catastrophic. Contagion.
First, at this stage, communication is key, and communication.
I like how in the fake exercise she's wearing a mask.
Should include not just scientists with data, but also social, religious, and political leaders.
Trust. This is an essential issue, and trust was.
Even though the pandemic is gay, everyone who does not submit to this pandemic is also gay. And so the reality is, all reality is gay. And therefore we must submit to the gay.
Among countries, between populations and healthcare systems.
All reality is the gay. Submit to the gay. Our reality is the gay. Our reality is the gay.
Our reality is gay. I said it's gay. My name is Jay. Our reality is gay. Space is fake and gay. Reality is gay. Our reality is gay. Hey, hey, hey. Our reality is gay. Hey, hey. Our reality is gay. It's fake and gay. And it's fake and gray. Like gray goo, baby. Which is nanotech. Gray goo is gay and it's fake and gray. Black goo is gay and it's also fake and gray. Fake and gay. Our reality is gay. Our reality, our reality, our reality is fake and gay. Everybody in the audience, you're all fake and gay. Fake and gay. All the audience is also gay. And your soul is gay. And your body's gay. And your little bit of tiny toes is also gay. Gay, hey, hey. Fake and gay, hey. Musical interlude, baby. All them little viruses, all them little amoebas and them bacterias is fake and gray.
Oh yeah. Now see, sometimes the hits just come, you know what I mean? They just pop out. They just show up. The hits come knocking on the door of my heart and they come out.
All reality is fake and gay.
It was almost starting to go into Bieber mode. You know how Bieber sings?
Our reality is fake and gay, girl. Girl, our reality is fake and gay.
It's a very soft whisper. Like it's a mumble whisper that like he's going to sleep. Reality is fake. Where were we? I got lost.
Systems and governments.
I'm very sorry to say that in 2025, we need to strengthen the health system.
WHO needs to be a voice for the voiceless.
12-year-old sense of humor. What are y'all talking about? 12-year-old? That's not a 12-year-old sense of humor. There's no 12-year-old that could sing that song. Okay, maybe the meme that has the bell curve, and there's like the slow boy over here who thinks that reality is fake and gay is funny, and then there's the people in the middle of the bell curve that don't get it, and then like the super genius, right? So we got slow boy and super genius teamed up right there, right? How dare you, Talita? How dare you, Talita? Talita? How dare you say this is a 12-year-old sense of humor, even though I just admitted that it is. So I just own myself. Damn.
Until all of us are safe.
As of today, there have been an estimated 1 billion cases worldwide, with more than 20 million deaths, including nearly 15 million children. Countless millions are alive, but left with paralysis or brain damage.
Oh, okay. So that's how it'll. So, I'm sorry. You hear those numbers? 1 billion people. Okay. Millions of children, and then those who are left will have brain damage and paralysis. So that's what we'll have. That's how this is going to unfold.
The most successful countries are those which invested in preparedness and trained for this moment years in advance. This included having full-time pandemic preparedness and response teams, which conducted detailed operational plans.
Did y'all like the reality song? By the way, do you like this camera version, or do you like me like this? Which one you like better? 1 or 2? I kind of like them both. I don't know. I need to make a full album. Well, I mean, there's a lot more cringecore coming, so I don't know what to tell you. Except that there's good news. That's all. I mean, that's good news, right? Reality is fake and gray. Let's see. Royalty free. What's really in my heart, as I said, is to make a, what did we say? Labouche. I want my own labouche. Royalty free. What do we call it? 90s dance music. Royalty free dining. That's what we need. Something like that. These are probably going to be pretty cringe though. Let's see.
What will you do with your newfound freedom?
This ad, by the way, has corporate Memphis art. Can you believe it? Are you surprised? Corporate Memphis art is based on making everyone lie about reality. Y'all like this? Royalty free 1990s Labouche style beat. Maybe? There needs to be a black chick singing right now, right? We need Rihanna Candace Owens in the background right now singing something.
Gonna make you sweat.
Right? What would she be saying?
Your sweat's gonna sweat. Gonna make your sweat sweat. Gonna make your sweat sweat. Gonna make your sweat sweat.
Sweat's gonna sweat. I don't know. I'm spitballing. It's not a real song. I'm just thinking out loud. For those that don't write music, you wouldn't understand.
Gonna make your sweat sweat.
That's very 90s-ish. That's Robert Miles' Dreamland, right?
Gonna make your sweat sweat in your sweaty pants. Sweatpants on top of.
No, I don't like that. Sweatpants on top of micro shorts. I don't know. It's very Robert Miles Dreamland, right? There we go. Gonna make you sweat, sweat. Your sweat is racist. Racist sweat. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. I'm just playing around. You know what I mean? I'm spitballing. Spitball. It might not come to fruition. I don't know. I want to. It's got to be the right beat though. Before I can't just do it. You know what I mean? I gotta have the right. It's got to move me. I got to get the right inspiration. The right 90s dance beat. I don't know. It's just got to happen. Free 90s dance. Let's see. Free for profit. That's what we want. No, that sucks. Fake Enigma. Fake Enigma? Maybe? Yeah. Anyway, I don't like that. It doesn't fit my vibe. We're done with this. We get the idea, right? What else? They talk about anything else?
And I
saw the old one.
Look at that guy. What is that guy doing? Does he think that looks cool? All right, we had to cover this one too, just because this is right up our alley. And is this not what we've talked about as well for so long? Yet another vindication. Yet another, right?
That cancer patient looking dweeb of a DJ who had his 15 minutes of fame in the mainstream music industry 20 something years ago. I forgot he existed too until I saw a headline that he announced that he quit Twitter. But stay tuned because that's not the story. He did announce that he was quitting Twitter, however, joining the ranks of other supposed celebrities like former comedian Jim Carrey and Elton John. He says that Twitter has become a cesspool of racism, anti-Semitism, and disinformation, which is interesting because the CIA reached out to Moby several years ago and hoped that he would help them spread disinformation. Did you ever hear about this story? This one kind of flew under the radar. Moby admitted that he had contacts within the CIA reach out to him and asked him to spread the disinformation about the Trump-Russia collusion conspiracy. Here he is on a podcast back in 2018 explaining how, well, basically Operation Mockingbird assets or those in the Entertainment Liaison Office tried to use him to spread their disinformation as a useful idiot.
Yeah, so years of touring and spending time in D.C. and New York, I've managed to make a few friends in the intelligence community. And I guess it was about a year ago, we were having dinner, and they were really concerned, partially based on this, not to go too much in the weeds, but like this Fusion GPS report on Trump essentially being run as a Russian agent.
Which, of course, was obvious disinformation and has been verified to be completely fake news.
And these are some active and former CIA agents who
saw a complete moron celebrity and wanted to use you to help spread their disinformation.
They're truly concerned. They were like, this is the Manchurian candidate. Like, he have a Russian agent as the president of the United States. And so they passed on some information to me, and they said, like, look, you have more of a social media following than any of us do. Can you please post some of these things just in a way to sort of put it out there?
Pop stars used for propaganda by intelligence agencies. Has anybody ever written any books on this? I wonder if there's any information out there that covers this. If there's any books maybe that people put a lot of time and effort into putting into print. I don't know. Have you guys heard it? Does anybody have any recommendations of authors that cover pop stars and musicians and Hollywood people being involved in this kind of stuff? If you can think of anything, let me know. By the way, you can get signed copies of my book at the website. And let's go back to this. I'm so in love with my little machine here, which I can switch back and forth. Isn't that cool? It's so professional.
Because celebrities know what's best. Please, Moby, help us expose President Trump being a secret Russian agent. In his memoir, Company Man, 30 Years of Controversy and Crisis in the CIA, former CIA officer
cited in my book, by the way,
John Rizzo, explained that the agency often uses celebrities to help spread their disinformation and propaganda, and actually to function as information gathering assets, since celebrities often rub elbows with foreign leaders, and those foreign leaders often talk to the celebrities and reveal a little bit more information than they do to U.S. diplomats or even the President of the United States when they meet. But the agency's activities in Hollywood go much deeper than that. Sometimes they've actually openly bragged about it, like when they produced the film Argo, which is based on a true story about a CIA operation that posed as a film crew to go over and rescue some.
Well, and once again, I mean, didn't we play this clip too very recently? Yep, we did. By the way, Batfleck, we're doing a Bass and Retarded stream. Very soon we're gonna do a Bass and Retarded stream, and we're gonna do the best and the worst of Batfleck. That's gonna be a lot of fun, right? Jamie and I are having a lot of fun watching best and worst of Bass and Retarded.
So Black Lives Matter released their 990 IRS filing.
Let's start a dumb conspiracy that can't. Candace Owens is just Candace Owens. Is that how you say it? That's how you pronounce it, right? Candace Owens is actually Rihanna. That's my new conspiracy theory.
Aliens and robots?
Yes, sir. It's like, no, it isn't a spoof. I would say that it's... I mean, that there's comic elements to it. I guess we're not satirizing Hollywood in the sense that we're like not holding specific things up for, you know, to be lampooned, but there is there is a way in which the movie sort of rolls its eyes a bit.
I got an idea.
They're a Canadian film crew for a science fiction movie.
I fly.
Yeah. A few, yes. I think probably.
Actors in Hollywood who also moonlight as agents, do you think?
I think there are probably quite a few, yes. I think probably Hollywood is full of CIA agents, and we just don't know it. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to discover that, you know, this was extremely common.
Are you?
You and Ben, baby. You and met there by the Boston Retarded, and you guys are going to be on a podcast. Boston Retarded. We're gonna do the worst of Ben, right? And it's gonna be fun. I'm just Jenny from the block. Don't be fooled by the butt that I got. I'm just Jenny from the block. It's the 90s again, if you didn't know. Did you know Benifer is a thing again? Benifer is back. Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got. I'm just Ben Affleck. And by the way, there's some really funny stuff in some of these Batfleck bombs. They will leave you baffled. They will leave you baffled. Batfleck is Ben plus Affleck. Batfleck. Because I'm constantly baffled watching Batfleck. He had a couple. There's a couple that are good, right? I mean, I'm not saying not all Batfleck productions are bad. There's some winners. As a movie, Argo's pretty good. I mean, it's propaganda, obviously, but Fast and Retarded. All I think of when I think of him and what's his face. And by the way, if you watch The Accountant, which is one of the ones that we're going to watch, and I've noticed a lot of these intelligence-connected Hollywood people, have you noticed that they'd have a bunch of movies about people with autism? So Claire Danes, who is in Homeland, she plays that country woman who gets into studying animal biology. I don't know, some famous woman with the tism. So she plays a tism person. He plays the accountant, which is a Spurg assassin, right? Spurg assassin 9000, literally. Trained by a military assassin, basically MK Ultra dad. Literally. I don't know how I missed the accountant. Somehow I missed this movie. And then we were watching it the other night, and I was blown away. I'm like, this is crazy. This is next level. You know what I mean? So next movie stream coming up. We got a couple lined up. We got one with Tristana, little AIDS. We got Jamie and I are going to do best and worst of Batfleck. Leave you baffled. You'll be baffled at Batfleck. Best and worst. Is that Candace Owens right? All I see is Candace Owens everywhere I go. And what does this all mean? All right, we step aside from the Hollywood stuff. Check this out. Remember when they were starting to put these videos up? When did this one come out? This one's new. Look at this. 10 million views. So the algorithm will promote this austerity stuff because it fits in with the WEF Davos tiny living. Remember, what do we say? What's the whole point here? Where was my notes? Here it is. Death care, no cars, no meat, shut down travel, no free commerce, CBDCs, central bank controlled, Bank for International Settlements controlled electronic fake scam currencies, not Bitcoin. Slow boys, Bitcoin is not that. That's a different thing. Totally different. So there's nothing that bothers me more than when I talk about this and people go off on Bitcoin. It just shows your ignorance. And I'm tired of people going off on Bitcoin not knowing what they're talking about. It's the dumbest stuff ever. Check this out.
Yo, welcome to my apartment.
Yo, this space.
Yo, no future, yo. Yo, nihilism, yo. Yo, this space is like no space. Right? It can't even be fake and gray because there's like no space even there to be the fake and gray.
So small. How much do you
Yo, it's so like eco or whatever. What do you pay?
$650.
Yeah, so she could be making a house payment in Tennessee for that much. You could get a small house in Tennessee for what she's paying for her stupid ass renting.
What's the square footage?
80 by 150.
So really it just feels like a walk-in closet. Like.
It's in Midtown, so it's nice because it's not in a random spot.
Yeah, it's in Midtown, so it's nice. It's not in a random spot. Are you serious?
In Brooklyn or something.
Like in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow.
Dude, if you sneeze in that apartment, you'll hit your head and get the freaking complaints. You have the neighbors complaining that you sneezed in this piece of garbage.
Oh, holy shit.
This is the kitchen, no oven.
Are these clean?
Yo.
Dirty dishes.
Yeah, they're so dirty.
They're so dirty. Don't look at them. This is like the only shelving space you have kind of over here.
Only shelving, yeah. It's kind of annoying.
This is very like college-esque,
It's
right?
so college. Feels like a dorm, yeah. We have a makeup bin and we have food.
Or do you cook in here ever? That's the real question.
No, when you're what are they, Zennials, you just eat out, right? Or no, you just eat garbage. You just eat microwave, which is not food. So, I mean, do you understand this is your slavery? All the videos we've been watching tonight are about this. Now, this is not the end goal. Coffin apartment is not the end goal. You understand? 15-minute city, Coffin apartment. That's the phase before goodbye. That's the phase before you're not around anymore. That's the next phase. This is 2030, 2035. 2035, 2050 is you don't exist. Do you understand?
Sometimes, yeah. If I do though, like I'll go get it fresh. This is storage. I just keep like a lot of cleaner stuff up there. So I had food up here originally. There were like mice in the beginning of summer. So I was like, hell no.
There were like mice. There weren't mice, there were like mice. That's Mice's little cousin. His name is Dice. They were like mice. They weren't mice. They were like mice. His name was Dice.
The whole mice bugs thing, like any apartment in New York, you can't escape it. You almost couldn't even do an at-home workout in here. That's how small it is.
Yeah.
We don't even have in Tennessee, unless you. So if you live in the country, you'll get some bugs in your house. But we don't have the bug problem here.
You used to live in a luxury high-rise, and then you moved into this tiny spot.
Yes.
And what prompted that?
I was debating if I was going to move back to LA when this lease was over, so it was a 6-month short time lease. I just found it and I thought it would be nice and convenient.
Back to LA. So I decided that I didn't want to use full words anymore. Like words are like so bad for the environment. So use a whole words. Like it takes up a lot of carbon, and I heard that if you talk like this, then you won't use up so much oxygen and kill the environment.
You can travel and not have to worry about a lot of rent.
Basically save $2,600 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
So should we shift into the living room area?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Onto the couch, a nice view of the TV. You can almost reach over and wash your hands.
Dude, that TV is half of her apartment.
From the living room.
And that's like a small screen. See, so that if you got a small screen TV and you want it to look like a big, gigantic movie screen, you get this apartment. It makes it look big.
I work in fashion, so those are all from my magazine that I write editorials for. And then semi-new to New York, a year, so it's like postcards they give you when you go to restaurants. And I'll like write memories on the back of them with like whoever I went with.
This is kind of sad. I mean, this is why you homestead, because there ain't nothing that New York can offer you that is worth this stuff, right? I mean, this is like zennial monastic living.
The place.
So do you primarily hang out like down here when you're at home?
Mostly. Sometimes it's nice to go up there and like read.
This space between here and here folds into a guest room. Can we pull it out? Can we see it?
Yeah, let's see it.
So everything has to shift to the right a little bit. And then you just pull it out.
This is Surfline, Surf Life. So I'm guessing they're like a surf brand.
It's definitely a little stiff.
Oh, it's very stiff.
I want to see the upstairs. Does it show the upstairs? Whoa, dude. It's not even an upstairs. It's just basically a shelf.
If you were an old person, you could not.
Her upstairs is a shelf.
Here. Oh, wow. Holy shit. This is actually insane.
Yo.
Basically,
you have a
from
shelf.
this railing to the ceiling right here, that's like the amount of space we have up here.
So basically, she's paying $650 a month for 2 shelves. There's an upper shelf and a lower shelf. Literally, that's all that is. Her apartment is a dual shelf.
Bring boys up here?
Never.
It's never happened.
I tell them like it's actually not.
She doesn't bring boys up there because boys don't even fit up there. It's just like one little skinny dude and one little skinny chick. That's it. That's all that fits on the second shelf.
Possible. It's like they're like, we won't judge you, and I'm like, no, it's not about judging. It's like you actually won't fit.
The full test.
I'll move.
It's actually really comfortable.
It is.
Like your mattresses.
Yeah.
We're just close to the ceiling.
We're super close. Don't hit your head. That's how close it is. You really gotta watch out.
Those are purses?
They're purses, bags.
Purses and bags, and then apartment.
So I found it on Street Easy. I was actually supposed to get the one below me that had a bathroom in the unit, and I think in a.
Wait, so she doesn't even have a bathroom? How does she go to the bathroom?
So this is a hot commodity.
It was a very hot commodity. It was funny because all the FITs.
This is a hot commodity. I guess I should be in the New York real estate market. I mean, but I would feel like I'm ripping people off. Oh, she has to go down the hall to use the bathroom.
No, he's so chill. I've asked him a million times if it bugs him. He's like, I don't care.
The shower looks nice, actually. No, I'm serious. So being a female living in this building and having your shower down the...
I'll tell you one thing Klaus is not going to rob me of is my bathtub. So I will die to defend my bathtub. I'm not getting rid of my bathtub. I hate showers. I'm not getting rid of the bathtub. Sorry, Klaus. You can't take my bathtub. But you'll notice this is WEF. Here's Klaus's old site over here. Let's head on over to Klaus's website. See what he's talking about, right? Let's hear. I want to hear the robot version of the article.
This article was originally published in Common Edge. Urbanism trends come and go, but the 15-minute city framing of walkable, Mihei use urban development is a lot more than a fad. The historical roots of the 15-minute city are connected deeply with the current moment, one we will be living with for a long time to come. As climate change and global conflict cause shocks and stresses at foster intervals and increasing severity, the 15-minute city will become even more critical. Urbanism trends come and go, Broadacre City, Radiant City, Eco City. Yet the 15-minute city concept, which implies having all necessary amenities within a short walk, bike ride, or public transit trip from one's home, has demonstrated stickiness not just as an idea, but as a powerful tool for action, from Paris to Seoul, from Bogota to Houston. For longtime urbanists, the 15-minute city seemed to merely repackage the historic urban pattern of development, walkable.
So it's just, you don't own anything. It's just circular economy, meaning a giant recycled circle. That means you get recycled. So you're part of the circle, you see, of the as a human being. That's why they're pushing the human death care and composting. Remember human composting? Anyway, that was the last that I had of this. I thought it'd be fun too to do one of these streams on
that looks like a giant tsunami.
All of these kind of weird videos going around. All the viral videos that go all over TikTok and all that. Would that be fun to analyze and watch? I think it would be. Like glitch in the matrix stuff. Would that be fun, or is that stupid? And also I want to do the rest of these links are underground base links, just for a new topic that we haven't talked about in forever. And if you don't know, by the way, that is actually mentioned in, look at this fancy little thing here. People don't remember this or know that this was in this book. If we go over here, look at that. Fancy. Remember Puzzle Palace? This is the first book on the NSA, and it came out in 1982, I think, by James Bamford. And I noticed there was a chapter on underground cities. Did you know that? See that? Isn't that cool? So I don't really feel like doing a whole thing on that tonight, but you can see that I think he talks about Crystal City. I'm going from memory. I didn't even read this page. I have it marked underground city, right? Is it about Crystal City? I can't hardly see it. Let me get my boomer glasses on. No, there's a different one. That's not talking about Crystal City. I got that wrong. Crystal Palace, is that what it's called? Did I get it wrong? Well, now I got to figure out where I was getting that. Pretty sure it's called Crystal City. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? It's in DC, so one of the underground facilities is DC. This is all public stuff, by the way. Let's see. Crystal City. Cryptography. No, that's not it. Underground bass. I got that underground bass when I put my Booty Bass remix tape in. Did y'all hear that song the other night? Booty Bass remix. Did I misremember? Is it not in this book? Underground cities, underground bases. All right, well, it's not even in the index. Well, that sucks. Ooh, I just got owned. I just got refuted. Doesn't exist. Let's see. Ooh, Crystal City Men's Club. Underground Mall. Is that it? Okay, that's, if I recall, this is partly connected to this, right? So this is an underground shopping mall, but there's a, if I recall, there's like maybe an underground base here too. I've never been here, by the way. No, that's something in Missouri. So you'll notice a lot of these, by the way, they are converted into facility. Like they'll have a section that's converted into this kind of stuff because remember the Denver International Airport? Remember when it's a conspiracy. This came out 2 years ago. So once again, us conspiracy people vindicated. Now, I don't have a gigantic... I mean, I think that it's obviously creepy because the artwork is all about Depop and all this stuff, right? But let's look at this. So we go back over here to check this out. Once again, we're vindicated. Now, we don't know what all's going on, obviously, right? But remember when the Denver airport conspiracy first became like a popular viral conspiracy? Remember that? And they were like, "It's no underground base." Yes, there is.
Plane at DIA, thousands of people walk over it, and they don't even know what's going on right underneath them.
I wish I did. No, I have no idea.
Deep down in the trenches, out of sight and mind, there is an underground city. And just like all cities, there's a freeway system. In this case...
Oh, there is an underground city. Oh, I thought that didn't exist. Doesn't exist. Conspiracy theorists. Doesn't exist.
Tugs, carts, and sometimes chaos.
Who do news anchors all get the same training when do they all get the same training to talk like this? And then they make a joke about this.
This is where the airlines move our luggage from plane to baggage claim. And there's no time.
It sounds like a National Treasure adventure.
Everybody's yelling and screaming, "Where are my bags? Where are my bags?" And a lot of times, there's traffic. People get stuck behind other airlines.
This is one of two 7,000-foot tunnels under DIA. It is huge down here, more than 1 million square feet of space. And just over that wall, well, that's the train that you take. It reminds you...
Okay, so there is a giant underground city and underground trains and underground freeways. Oh, exactly what everybody said. Now, I'm not saying there's something nefarious. Perhaps not, right? But regardless, it does exist. And let's see if I'm right about this. Was this once a underground facility? Because a lot of these facilities that they've made part of them kind of corporate stuff, like there's more to it is what I'm trying to say. There's more than just this. Oh yeah, look at that. This is just half of the underground. Do you remember when it came out too that the royal family, they have an underground facility as well? Now there's a whole bunch of these, right? Not all of them are public, by the way. Let's see. Royal. This came out in the news a long time ago. And they have like their own underground city. It's not just a tunnel. They have like a fully functioning city down there. Is it the Burlington Bunker? I don't know if that's it. Let's see what else there might be. It's probably related to this. Let's see what this is. Tequila. Okay, that doesn't tell me anything. It's interesting though, a lot of these old articles, you just about can't find them anymore. Seems like it was a Daily Mail article though, because I remember this because it talked about how they have a fully functioning organic garden. It's not a bunker, but they have like this whole thing down there. Oh, this is it. Maybe this is it. It's not a bunker though. Yeah, a yacht. There we go. Look at this. Operation Python. There's a top secret strategy. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see what else it says. During the Cold War. Told you. There was just one city-sized underground shelter. And that's to ensure the royal succession at all costs. Yeah, okay. Let's see if this is it. Oh, this might be it. Burlington Bunker. But now people have figured out, and they're starting to realize that there's actually underground cities and tunnels and networks everywhere. Like everywhere. And I mean, I don't know how well connected all of these are or exactly what's going on, but I mean, there's Rand Corporation documents from the 50s about creating giant underground tunnel networks, or from the 60s, I should say. So anyway, so that you can see that, and one of these talks about it having a giant organic garden. It's basically, if the world collapses, they have a giant thing where they can just survive it all. And it's very elaborate. Yeah, okay, come on, yeah, we know. Let's move on. Blah, blah, blah. Play the video. What do you... This is the worst. These kinds of ads like this on things you're trying to... Okay, well, this doesn't show us anything, so that was a worthless article. I want a video on the bunker. None of this. This is all worthless. So anyway, there's a bunch of these. That's the thing, right? There's tons of these. And they're not... Some of them are hidden, but some of them are public. Like, it's really easy to find a lot of this stuff, too. And it's something I've, on the side, researched for over the years. Maybe Crystal City is mentioned in Bamford's other book as being also connected to a government facility. Anyway, so so this gets into continuity of agenda stuff, which is all the preppers and like the classic conspiracy people. They love to talk about the underground bases because it's like, oh, the elite's gonna go into their breakaway government. I think that's probably true. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but I would bet you that at some point that will probably be the case. Remember that Jesse Ventura episode? Didn't we cover that? Anyway, I'm going to save all that for the next live stream. I've been going for a long time. That's too much to do tonight. But I want to remind you guys that our show sponsor is both Chalk.com and Richard Grove, namely Autonomy University, namely Grand Theft World, excellent podcast. Be sure and go subscribe to Grand Theft World over on Rockfin. We love everybody at Rockfin for the most part. Some of the people I don't care for over there, but that's okay. It's a big family of Rockfin people. And we got our good buddy Richard Grove. Grand Theft World. You probably have heard of Richard from Tragedy and Hope. We've done many shows, podcasts over the years. Richard is now a sponsor, so go to Rockfin right now and subscribe, because if you subscribe at Rockfin, you get access not just to me in terms of the paid content, you get everybody. Look at all this. Check this out. Let me show you something. So if you liked my live stream going into the history of British intelligence and all that, well, I've got good news for you, because Richard did one just as informative. All right, where was that one? I think it's this one. Was it this one? So check it out. So over here at Rockfin, you get access to the full content, not just of me, but of everyone. Now you can sign up for free because there's a ton of free content on Rockfin. You don't have to get the paid subscription unless you want it, but you can. And I recommend it. It's not that expensive, but you get access to everybody. So the way it works over on Rockfin is $15 flat fee gives you access to everybody's paid content. And I mean, this is like every episode of Grand Theft World is a college course on this stuff.
Report about MK Ultra.
So here's the book. It's called A Terrible Mistake: The Murder of Frank Olson and the CIA's Secret Cold War Experiments.
And that's published by Trondheim Books, Chris Milligan over there, who publishes Whitney Webb's books. So while you're over there getting Whitney's books.
And he publishes Jay Dyer's books, which are these books right here that you see. So it's not just, it's a lot of good people networked, if you know what I mean.
Awesome.
We got it on the show a couple weeks ago. I think Burmis covered it. There's also this. I'll just get this on the record very quickly. This is in the New York Post. Carolyn Ellison likely working.
So this is a really awesome podcast, right? They get deep.
Before or after it crashed?
This part, I think, especially this episode, I mean, they went so deep into a lot of the British intelligence stuff, which is what you hear me. I was learning stuff from this podcast. So you need to support Grand Theft World. You need to support all of our buddies at Rockfin, Burmis, Tripoli. You got a lot of good people over there. I'm trying to find that part where they got into British intelligence. Anyway, it's somewhere in this podcast. It's really good. They're all really good and deep, though. Like, that's what she said. Anyway, good news, too. Guess what? Guess what Wednesday night is? Wednesday night is the last installment of the History of Western Philosophy lecture series. Crazy, huh? We'll be done. And it'll be like 35 hours of lecture material and Q&A. So we'll be doing the modern isms, the Nietzsche's, the Sartre's, all of that. That's where we've gotten to in the last postmodernism. That'll be the last lecture, and we'll be done. And then it'll go on sale. So everybody's asking, when's it going on sale? Very soon. Very soon there will be the new History of Western Philosophy lecture series. 12 courses, 35 hours, and it's going to be the bump biggity, baby. So you're going to want to sign up for that. The link for that will be the link that you see in the show description now, which is the Autonomy University link, University of Reason. You see that? You go to that. That's my affiliate link. The affiliate link for the actual course will be ready when for the philosophy course, when the philosophy course is fully edited and ready to sell. So that'll be pretty soon because we're done Wednesday. And guess what? The good news is my thought is we're going to do a bunch of courses, right? I want to do a whole course on the Global Elite Book Series. I want to do a course on geopolitics and espionage because people don't understand that. They don't seem to think that's a big deal. And it's like, it's how the world is run, dummy. Right? I mean, we need to do that. I want to do a whole lecture series on... I might just redo Tragedy and Hope because when I did it, it was low quality, it was ghetto, not the information, the sound quality, the video quality, right? So we need to redo that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And again, head on over to Autonomy University, head on over to Grand Theft World, head on over to Rockfin, subscribe to Richard. He is a really awesome researcher. He's got a great team on his own. I mean, he's got like a whole crew over there of like top-notch researchers that people I don't know, right, doing their thing. So he's hooked up with Whitney Webb. He's hooked up with his buddy Tony. I mean, there's people over there doing intel research that I don't even know. Just other stuff. It's good, though. It fits perfect with what we cover over here. Very harmonized, and so we're so glad to have Richard as a show sponsor. And we're also glad to have, you got it, Chalk.com, baby. Chalk.com. How are we so good at what we do? How do we get so much energy? Well, in part, it's Chalk.com. It's a lot of things, but it's Chalk.com. I mean, let's just be honest here. Let's be honest, right? How do we do it? We do it through Chalk, man. Head on over to Chalk.com, CHOQ.com. And when you use your promo code, you got to use the right promo codes or it's worthless, right? You're not getting that 50% off or that 60% off. Let me tell you how to get 50% off. You get that by the promo code JAY50. JAY50. 50% off all the products at Chalk.com. Can't beat that. Including the Action 2.0 if you just want overall energy boost. My favorite, Tonkat Elite, peer-reviewed study proven to boost testosterone. You can go read the papers over at Chalk. It show you the peer review. It's all there. Hundreds of 5-star reviews on all these products. If you want overall supplementation, there is the Daily. Can't miss that. Literally made from ground up bones from Mayor Daily. I'm just kidding. She legit. She legit to quit. Hey, hey. She legit. She legit. And you won't quit. She legit. She legit to quit. Jamie loves it. She takes the ashwagandha and the She legit on a regular basis. Both are good for stabilizing mood and mental focus and clarity, especially the ashwagandha for mental focus and clarity. She's really, for mood, calming the moods. Ladies, they have this thing called the moods. It exists in them. Sometimes that moods gets turned up. What does ashwagandha do? It turns the moods down. Turn the volume, turn the mood dial down. Dial it back from a 12 to about a 6. That's what ashwagandha does for the ladies. Irish moss, also good for that. For the guys, we want to dial it up. We want toxic masculinity going up through the roof. We want Geiger counters going off. Toxic masculinity Geiger counters right here. Going off. Like a dang techno song from 1993. Alarms going off like a techno song because of all the toxic masculinity. How? Chalk.com, that's how. Head on over there. They've also got other amazing products like the chocolate powder, like the cacao beans. If you're into that stuff, all organic. Well, actually better than organic, I should say. Better than organic. Organic's kind of a scammy thing. And they're so precise about their stuff that it's kind of next level. So head on over there and use the promo code J60Life for a bigger discount if you want recurring subscriptions. So if you set up the recurring subscriptions, you do get a bigger discount, 60% off. I think you're going to find that it's worth it. We get them on a regular basis because obviously we're sponsors, but like I would have it just kind of coming on a regular basis. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. But you use a different promo code for that. It's J60Life, JAY60LIFE. There you go. You're set. You don't have to think about it, right? You just let it come to you on a regular basis. And you'll be a regular. 2 hours ago. Let's go back. 2 hours ago. AIDS McGillicuddy, $50. Thank you so much. Can you do a DJ turntable under the document camera so that you can rap and remix in style? Well, that's this camera. Okay, that's basically when you see my face and you see me get into rapping, get into doing cringecore music, get into doing 90s dance party mix. Remember WoW music CDs? Remember that? It's basically like that around here, right? Now I can't do my songs because the battery died in my other thing. So anyway, but yeah, exactly, right? Thank you so much, Age McGillicuddy. I hope you guys liked Everything is Fake and Gray, tonight's immediate insta hit. Vladimir Kranik, $5. Jay, you're the best, bro. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Vladimir. It's a nice, very powerful Viking Orthodox name right there, Vladimir. Thinky Thank, $10. I watched your crypto philosophy talk from a year ago, and I decided to invest. Better late than never. Your insight was incredibly helpful. Thank you. Although a lot of the information, I guess, is kind of dated now. Just get Bitcoin, right? That's what we're just back to the basics, man. That's it. Just I'm not telling you what to do. I can't give you financial advice. Get Bitcoin. If I was you. If I was you. Orb1, $10. Jay, thank you for this great stream. Have you checked out Ecto Life's artificial womb facility? I did see that. Yeah, that was an article going around a couple weeks ago. And yeah, exactly. That's Brave New World, right? They were writing about that in the 1920s and 30s. BMX 1966, thank you so much. Great, awesome vid, he says. Thank you. Yeah, tonight's we got the city on lockdown, right? Remember that song? Klaus got the city on lockdown. That's the for real got the city on lockdown. Cataclysm, $5. Please challenge Muhammad Hijab to a debate. We've done that. I mean, I can't make these people debate me. Raj, $3. Have you tried to debate or talk to Russell Brand? I'm pretty sure Russell Brand is familiar with my stuff because I'm not positive, but I remember being, when I was at Gaia, the when we were filming Hollywood Decoded, it was like right before Russell Brand came, not to my show, but to do some other show he was involved with Gaia at the same. So I think he's heard of me, and I know he's familiar with Lord Voldemort. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to have a chat with Russell Brand. Sure. Phaedra's $20.23. I lost my place. Thank you for 100,000. Yes, I haven't forgotten our live movie ripping. We're still going to do Road Tour. It's very difficult to write the jokes for a 2-hour riffing stream, because on the one hand, if I do this, it's just hard. It's hard to explain like how to make that work. So I think the only way it's going to work is to do it live. I was going to try to do a pre-recorded thing where I time the jokes and get all the jokes in, but I think I'm going to have to do it the way we're doing it right now. But to make that work, I'm going to have to pause the movie. So that's going to be annoying, but I can't figure out any other way to do it. I do not understand how they do it at Riff Tracks. It blows my mind. I don't understand how they keep in sync. I guess it's just because they've done it for so long. Like they've been doing it for 30 years, especially if you're Mike. I mean, I don't understand how they do it. Like, plus it's easier, I think, if it's 3 people, like you get a break. If it's one person riffing, there's no breaks, right? You're constantly riffing. So I don't see how to do. I think the way it works is that it goes like it's 3 guys, and so they can take turns. So basically, the first guy, when he riffs, it doesn't come back to him for like another 2 minutes, probably, right? Maybe a minute. That's the only way I can think of how they make it work. But thank you, Phaedra, for that super chat, 100,000, and we will do Road Tour. I think we'll just have to do it live, and I'll just have to pause it. There's no other way to do it. Ideally, what I want to do is have other people on here with me doing riffs. That would be fun. Not everybody is fitted to do that, though. So I don't know how to make that work. But somehow we'll try to make it work. But that's the easiest way to produce funny content, right? Is to do the way Riff Tracks does it. But anyway. Friendly $5. The expanding Ukraine war will be used to police content. Yes. And it will also, they will use the online push for the climate stuff. I've already seen propaganda about how renewables will defeat Russia. I mean, yeah, I think at this point, the more absurd the propaganda, the better, right? Josh Wires, $5. How would you show that neo-Darwinian elite technocracy are committed to absolute divine simplicity? Well, I think that the best academic option for getting the long-term approach is this. That's why this is such an important book that's come out. It will show that. But it takes a long time to understand that. It takes a lot of books, a lot of different disciplines. I mean, this one is a really academic book that's 422 pages. But I mean, the last chapter is how Spinoza's absolute divine simplicity leads to pantheism. And that influences the Illuminists. And then the Luminists influence the rise of technocracy, Auguste Comte and these people. Again, that's why the book tells you right here. Illumination and Utopia in Plethon. So that's how. So, but you have to understand this stuff before you could understand. Then you'd have to understand the history of technocracy. So, but that's how you would demonstrate it. That's the ideological trek, is what I'm trying to say. Oops. I am loving this fancy button I got here. My little buttons I can push. My little machine. J Mel. Big fat super chats. Always supporting big time. No, we got to go to this one. There we go. J Mel, $70. Happy New Year, and thank you for the Cringecore song, The Library. Yeah, so we got 2 new songs tonight. You got Everything is Fake and Gray and How to Get Girls to the Library. Free of charge. Thank you so much, J Mel. Love those super chats and your support. You've been a super awesome big money supporter, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, J Mel. Andrew, $5. I know it's off topic. I was wondering if you had to do an analysis of Westworld and Pirates of the Caribbean. Actually, we did take notes on Pirates of the Caribbean, so that one's ready. Westworld, there's an essay in, guess what? This book. So I did cover Westworld in part 2, but we do intend to cover the whole show. The problem is that it takes a while to get through all the Westworlds. So yes, eventually we will do that. Palantir 147, will you consider doing a breakdown of World War I and World War II? The Austrian, so I bought books on this, and yeah, maybe I'll have to do it on Rockfin though, right? Because a lot of that stuff's just too dicey for YouTube. ARP Town 1, $3. Thank you so much, ARP Town 1. All right, check it out. Isn't that cool? And I can even, like, with my fancy little machine, I can do an outro. We don't have an outro, but I could do an outro. You know what I mean?